My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. When I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are mad for Mickey, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're just thinking about or currently planning your first holiday to Walt Disney World and you still think that the turkey leg was a 1980s dance craze, well then this really is the podcast for you. Make sure you keep in touch. We are at PodMagical on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And this week, we've got a special Top 5 bonus episode. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. And this week, we've got a top 5. We're looking at the top 5 things to do over at Magic Kingdom. Now, Magic Kingdom is what you really think about when you think of Walt Disney World. It's the big park right in the middle, the one with Cinderella's castle, the one where you walk down Main Street, USA, and you can smell the popcorn and the cookies. You can wave at Mickey Mouse, admire the fireworks, enjoy the parade in the afternoon. But what are the 5 things that you should really be doing? Magic Kingdom is just one of 4 theme parks that you'll find in Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. Opened its doors on the 1st of October 1971. As I mentioned, it's the one with the castle in the middle. It's the one with the attractions that you think about. When you think of Disney, you think of the It's a Small World boat ride or Pirates of the Caribbean and the fireworks at the end of the night, the parades. So these are my 5 things that you really should do when you are going to the Magic Kingdom. Number 5, my number 5 on this list. And I've kind of cheated here with my number 5 because it kind of encompasses quite a few rides. My number 5 is Ride the Mountains. Now, the mountains are known as 3 of the big white knuckle rides that you've got in Magic Kingdom. You've got Space Mountain, which is like the indoor dark roller coaster. You've got Big Thunder Mountain, which is like an outdoor roller coaster, which is set as like a runaway train. And you've also got Splash Mountain. This is the one where you probably will get wet. In fact, you definitely will get wet. Why should you do these 5 attractions? Well, again, these are the 5 attractions that people tend to run to when the park opens. If you get any fast passes ahead of time, these are the ones you want to get to. If you've only got 3 fast passes in a day, you've got 1 day at Magic Kingdom. Maybe the 3 mountains are the ones you want to look for. They're the big attractions. They're the white knuckle rides, which does mean you kind of got to be an older kid or an adult to ride these. I know the height restrictions on Space Mountain, I think they're probably one of the biggest in the Magic Kingdom. I think you've got to be 44 inches or taller. Splash Mountain is a little bit shorter than that. Splash Mountain, by the way, big drops, a lot of splashing. There's a lot of theming inside. It's more than just your average log flume. And also, it's one of the longest rides in the whole of Walt Disney World. You've got a good 10, 15-minute ride to get out of that one. So my number 5 on the first top 5 list is Ride the Mountains. Number 4 on my list, and this is where you really should be going in the afternoon. If you're at Magic Kingdom and you're leaving before 3 o'clock, then what is going on? Because the number 4 on my list is See the Parade. When you watch TV commercials from Walt Disney World, you can guarantee you will see people standing on the side of Main Street ready to wave at their favourite characters as the huge, big, colourful floats go past with all the music playing out. You can wave at Anna and Elsa and Mickey Mouse. There's all the dancers. It really is the most colourful part of any day in Walt Disney World. But also, the current parade is the only parade that you will find. I know a few years ago, each of the parks had its own parade. There used to be 2 parades at Magic Kingdom, the day parade and then the night parade. You might have heard of the Main Street Electrical Parade with all the lights. There's currently only one parade in the whole of Walt Disney World, and that is Disney's Festival of Fantasy Parades. It starts usually in Frontierland. It then moves around to the front of the castle and then up Main Street, USA, usually around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The best place to watch it usually is on Main Street, USA. The most crowded place to watch it is usually on Main Street, USA. I know a lot of people have got a couple of little secret hiding places. One that somebody recommends to me is just before the corner where it turns to go onto Main Street, USA. There's a little Christmas shop that is open all year round, and apparently it's a quiet little corner. So if you don't mind where you watch it, you don't have to be standing on Main Street, USA. A quiet little spot. look out for that Christmas shop. Now there's going to be loads of Brits crowding around there now. If you've got a little bit of money and you fancy splashing out, there is also a dining package that you can get, which gets you reserved seating for the parade. There is a restaurant just as you come into Magic Kingdom called Tony's. Now, Tony's is a gorgeous Italian restaurant, actually, themed on Lady and the Tramp. And they will do a dining parade, so you will get a 3-course meal, and they will then give you a little voucher, which gets you a special location where you can watch the parade. In fact, you'll be watching it right at the top of Main Street, so you will have the castle in front of you, and the parade will come towards you. I have done this. It doesn't get very crowded. And if you were on the dining plan, if you've got the free dining plan, comes as 1 credit on the dining plan. So it's well worth the use of 1 credit. If your time is limited, you want to make sure you've got a good pitch for the parade. You get a great meal, lot of food. So bear in mind, if you go in August and it's like 90 degrees, you're going to be eating a lot of carb-heavy food, then standing in the sunshine to watch the parade. But definitely worth a credit on the dining plan. And of course, definitely worth watching the Disney Festival of Fantasy Parade. See the Parade is number 4 on my top 5 list of things you should be seeing and doing at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. And of course, if you've got any tips on where you should be watching the parade, get in touch. We're on Facebook, we are on Twitter and Instagram at PodMagical. At number 3, again, referring to food, is go to the Be Our Guest restaurant. Now, there are quite a few popular restaurants, including the one in the castle, which is Cinderella's Royal Table. Quite expensive. If you want to meet the characters, you want to meet Snow White and Cinderella, then take your little princesses to that one. But one of the most in-demand reservations is the Be Our Guest restaurant. This is at the back of the castle, and I think the reason it is so in demand is just the theming. The theme of the restaurants is the movie Beauty and the Beast. Hence, it's called Be Our Guest. There are 3 dining rooms once you get into the restaurant. The most popular is the ballroom. It looks exactly like the ballroom where Belle and the Beast waltzed around during the film. And it's totally magical. It even snows through the window. Now, the restaurant is open all day, including dinner. Now, dinner is where you will get a 3-course meal. It's a set menu. I think it's about $60 at the moment. So for the 3-course dinner, it's not too bad. It's 2 credits if you're using the dining plan, which is not really worth 2 credits on the dining plan. But not only do you get your 3-course French-inspired menu, it is the only place in the whole of Walt Disney World where you can meet the Beast. Now, I'm not talking about the guy from The Chase, Mark, whatever his name is, Mark Lebet. And it's not that Beast, it's the actual Beast from Beauty and the Beast, the Beast. And you will only meet him at dinner. He quite often parades through. You'll be in the middle of the dinner and then suddenly there's lightning and the Beast walks through. He'll then go over to his study, and at some point during the meeting you can go over and you can have your photograph taken with him, give him a little bit of a hug. He doesn't say a lot. So dinner in Be Our Guest is a really nice romantic meal. Great theming, but it is also open for breakfast and lunch. Now, breakfast and lunch, Be Our Guest is classed as a quick service credit. So even though you're not going up to a counter to get your food and then finding a table, you are still having the food brought to you, but it is classed as 1 credit on a quick service credit. So it's well worth a quick service credit, especially at breakfast, because it opens an hour before the park opens. So if you think about this, if the park opens at 9 o'clock and you can get a reservation for 8 o'clock, that means you're getting into the Magic Kingdom before the crowds. So you can walk down Main Street, have a few photographs in front of the castle before the riffraff get in, and it means you are then in the park and you can be first on the rides before the park officially opens. And quite often, some of the rides are up and running at like 10, 15 minutes before the park opens. There was one occasion, I went for breakfast at Be Our Guest at 8 o'clock. The park opened at 9. I'd finished my breakfast at 8:45, came out of the restaurant. Snow White 7 Dwarfs Mine Train was running, which is a very, very popular ride. And I was on there with no queues whatsoever. Got off the ride and then did another attraction before people started getting in the park. So it is well worth the use of a breakfast credit on the quick service dining plan. I think it's about $30 to buy. That's entirely up to you. But quite often, if you can't get a reservation for dinner, breakfast and lunch is another option if you just want to be in the restaurant. But that is number 3 on my top 5 list. Go for food at Be Our Guest. My number 2 is something I've already just mentioned. My number 2 on my top 5 things you should be doing at Magic Kingdom is ride 7 Dwarfs Mine Train. Now, this is one of the newest attractions in the Magic Kingdom. It's kind of the best way to describe this is a mini roller coaster. So if you're going with little kiddos, then this is probably a good thing to do for the first ever roller coaster. Rather than throwing them on something massive that's going to spin them around corners and get them travelling at 70 miles an hour and get them spinning upside down, it might put them off roller coasters for life if you do that. So how about getting them on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? There is still a height restriction on this. I think the height restriction is 38 inches. So if you've got a kiddo over 38 inches, then this is good. It is like a mini thrill ride. There are a few small drops. And again, once again, the theming is great because you will actually get to go inside the Seven Dwarfs mine, where you will see the Seven Dwarfs hard at work mining for diamonds. And also, if you're lucky and everybody else who's on the ride is up for it, you'll quite often get to sing hi-ho during the ride, if you've got a good crowd of people with you. And quite often the Americans are well up for a bit of a sing-song. That is number 2 on my list of the 5 things you should be doing at Magic Kingdom is ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If there is just one fast pass you remember to get when your fast pass window opens, make sure it is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Otherwise, you're looking at queues of at least 90 minutes on a quiet day, sometimes up to 2 or 3 hours. Finally, on my top 5 list, the one thing you should be doing at Magic Kingdom is right at the end of the night. Yeah, even if you're there at 8 o'clock in the morning when the park opens, try and stay for the fireworks. Happily Ever After is some of the most magical fireworks you will see, not just in the Magic Kingdom, not just in Walt Disney World, but in the whole of the world. These are not just fireworks that explode over Cinderella's castle at the end of the night. This is a full-on light and sound show. The music they use is emotional, and there might be 1 or 2 little characters that you might see flying over your head. I don't want to give too much away because that's a spoiler, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you'll know who to look out for. Usually at 9 o'clock at the night is when you can go and see probably the greatest firework display. Definitely in Walt Disney World, Happily Ever After is the number 1 on my top 5 list. And once again, if you're only there for a short amount of time and you want to make an occasion of it, you can do what they call a fireworks dessert party. Now for this, it's kind of like a buffet of desserts. There's the little cupcakes, there's like hot puddings, there's also like fondue and things like that. You've also got tea, coffee, hot chocolate and soft drinks. You really can stuff your face on sugar. Now you can either do your dessert party before or after the fireworks, but the best thing is whenever you do it, you will get to watch the fireworks from a lesser crowded area. They'll get you away from the riffraff. Now, there are 2 areas. There's an area which is at the front of the castle, which is like a little cordoned off garden, if you like. And then the other area is actually where you watch the fireworks from, where you have the dessert party, which is at a little cafe just at the side of the castle. Now, it is actually more expensive to watch the fireworks from where you have the desserts. And you know what? The view isn't as good. So if you want to do the dessert party, I'd go for the one that puts you in the Plaza Garden viewing. And you can either watch the fireworks and then have your dessert, or you can have your dessert before the fireworks. There's actually 2 options. So technically, there's 3 dessert parties that you can go for. My recommendation will be watch the fireworks and then have the dessert party after. And it's a little bit cheaper. Again, if you're pushing the boat out, if you're not there for very long, or maybe it's a birthday or an anniversary, you want to do something special, it's about $70 at least. But do you know what? If it's special and it's a one-off trip, then go for it. So there it is, my top 5 things you should be doing in Magic Kingdom. Just to recap, number 5, ride the mountains. Number 4, see the parade. Number 3, eat at Be Our Guest. Number 2, get on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And number 1, make sure you stay for the fireworks at the end of the night, happily ever after. So there you go, there's my top 5. What would your top 5 be? Is there something on there that I have missed? As always, you can keep in touch. You can tweet me, send me a message on Facebook and Instagram. We are at PodMagical. It's the same place to go to keep updated with all the news from Walt Disney World. And if you'd like to come on the podcast one week for a chat and share your magical memories and your top tips, then please get in touch. Until next time, make sure you've subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We've got a new podcast dropping every Friday. And until then, please stand clear of the doors.